Before I ask you, I'll just give my take. Nobody's really talked about it publicly, but the bottom line is Bernie Sanders, has endorsed many progressive candidates like you. Obviously, he ran a spirited and long campaign. Since the DNC, he's been kind of quiet. He has plans this week to do a live webcast to his supporters, kind of as a preview to his new organization. He's establishing a progressive organization called Our Revolution. So benefit of the doubt to Senator Sanders. There might still possibly, maybe he's waiting for a last hour surprise to come down and campaign for you. But the bottom line is, down the home stretch, if I'm being real, he's kind of, left you without swimming without a paddle. You're one of the highest profile Bernie-crats. And frankly, I think, and many progressives think, he needs to be down there with you. There's different theories on why he hasn't come down to campaign with you. But needless to say, in a close race, I don't really buy you're down by 10 points based on only 400 people polled. I think Senator Sanders, who right now is polling at 80% in that area, might be able to put you over the top. So I think he should be down there. Have you had any conversations? And what's your take on the fact that the highest profile progressive isn't down there for what I think is the most high profile progressive race in the country?
Well, frankly, it is a bit disappointing. I had never sought Senator Sanders' endorsement. It came out of the blue, and I certainly welcomed it, and it gave a boost to our campaign. At the time of the convention in Philadelphia, he certainly raised expectations. He had several interviews in which he talked about campaigning for 100 down ballot races, and at least in a couple of those interviews, mine was the only name that he mentioned. It was wonderful to see at the time, but of course we weren't the only ones seeing those interviews. So were the Debbie Wasserman Schultz camp and her super PACs. I think he raised a lot of expectations, which I think encouraged a lot of the super PAC money to quickly start flowing here to help Wasserman Schultz. And it galvanized the establishment. It motivated them to mobilize to defend Wasserman Schultz. And we got a string of folks coming down here, from Hillary Clinton to Nancy Pelosi to perhaps Bill Clinton is next. Whereas, of course, we have nobody coming here to campaign for us. That said, I still like our chances. That poll that you mentioned was done by the Wasserman Schultz camp. It has a 5% margin of error. Showed her ahead by 10 points, but when you look at it closely, it polls only 400 people, and they're super voters. They're the ones likeliest to vote in a primary election. We've spent months expanding the field, and there are a lot of folks now who don't normally vote in off-year primaries in August who suddenly are, and the early votes that have been cast through vote by mail and early voting sites are showing that there's a surge in new voters. Or I should say, unlikely voters who have been registered Democrat, and they usually vote in presidential elections. So we're really of the mind that this is a dead heat. We need all the help we can get. Look, when Bernie endorsed me, he called me up, gave me his number, and said, stay in touch and please call. And I have, and I'm waiting for Bernie to return my call, and not just Bernie, a couple of people very high up in his camp. It's a little confusing. We read the reports too, and not quite sure why he's backed off. It might be pressure from the Clinton camp. It might be that he's put his faith and trust in some folks around him who have been negotiating with the Clinton camp, and for some reason thought that ours was a race to sacrifice, which I think is very disconcerting. I mean, this is ground zero for the revolution that he's been calling for. I'm grateful for the fundraising emails he's done for us. It has raised money. Of course, his support has also raised money for Wasserman Schultz as a result. Like I said, the super PACs mobilizing against me. While he has done some fundraising emails, all I can say is it's been 8 months where I've been putting it all on the line. And contributing to his campaign for much of the past year, and speaking up for him. And really, I was inspired to run against Wasserman Schultz to help protect Bernie's flank in the presidential primary. When I saw what the DNC was doing to the Sanders campaign last December and cutting off the access to the VAN database, the voter database, I thought, well, a primary challenge against her will give them pause to be playing a lot of dirty tricks in the future. It probably was not effective in that regard. Wasserman Schultz and the DNC continued to put their thumbs on the scale. But certainly that was a lot of my motivation to be part of this revolution, part of this progressive movement, this progressive surge. I certainly want to see this through to the end, to win this election, to be an ally of Bernie Sanders and other progressives in Congress, and to make sure whoever's elected president has to really answer to the progressive heart and soul of the Democratic Party. So, we are hoping that the Sanders campaign does still come through, that Bernie comes through and makes an appearance for us, or at the very least helps us raise some more money during such a critical period down the home stretch. And that is our hope.
And people can reach you at timcanova.com.
Yes, if folks go to timcanova.com, now is a very important time to donate what they can. Certainly, in addition to donating, there's a phone banking link on the top of that page. Phone calls into the district are helping raise our name recognition. I am still very enthusiastic about our chances of winning this, but it's going to require everybody to row together and pull together at this moment. There's no time to waste. Votes are being cast every day now in this district, with early voting sites that are open and coming to a conclusion on Tuesday, August 30th. So we need all the help we can get. We need folks to share on social media, to call into the district if they're around here in South Florida, or if they want to come to South Florida, to lend their support, to come knocking door to door and to be canvassing sites. If we win this, it really sends a loud and clear message that the movement is alive and well, and that we're going to keep building on the gains from the past year.
Great. Thanks for taking the time again, Tim, and good luck down the stretch.
Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate it.